Is your garage door loud and annoying and wakes up the dog and the baby? Well, today we're going to go over rollers, which is probably the reason, and you're going to know way more about rollers than you ever wanted to know. Welcome to the Garage Authority Podcast, powered by A1. I'm your host, Jonathan Phillips, and today we have the man, the myth, the legend returning to us, the funniest man in garage doors, the greatest manager in garage doors. I don't care what Dre says. It's the one and only Dylan Kepley. What's up, dude?
What's up, brother?
We've been having silly goose time, catching up, talking about the kiddos, talking about life. But on today's episode, we're getting down to the brass tacks. We are getting into rollers, a deep dive, if you will, because there are many rollers out there and many applications that you can use them. And I feel like there isn't a video where people are going through every single type of roller possible, when it should be applied, what to avoid. So we brought on an expert. This guy trains people all day. He takes care of them all day. He listens to every phone call that we go to here in the greater Phoenix area. So he knows just about everything about rollers. And I know a little bit too. But how you doing, brother?
Chilling.
Chilling?
Yeah? Just turned 32.
Just turned 32. I just turned 33.
Dude, feels the same as 31.
Feels the exact same.
We did a staycation and we went to the Great Wolf Lodge, which is like they have a bunch of them all over the country and everything, but took the kiddo, did that. He calls the hotels, he calls them the big house.
The big dude.
He calls them the big house, and that was awesome. That was fun, just for 48 hours. Be able to like really decompress. Just him and I, and it was great. It was great. So it was like how I brought in 32 and everything. Again, feels the same as 31. Knees crack a little bit more, a little bit more, but we're golden,
dude. Well, I'm sorry to get you back into the swing of things. The Great Wolf Lodge, I'm sure, is an incredible memory that you're going to have forever. And honestly, I probably need to go myself now that I'm thinking about it. It seems fun. But we're down to business today. We're talking about these bad boys. We're talking about these. These go on your garage door. They're what keeps your garage door in the track and allows it to move throughout the track. Now, if you had to assume one mistake that most homeowners make about rollers, what would that be?
I would say the biggest mistake or misconception that they have about the wheels is that they're all built the same. They're all built the same. We deal with so many, especially in this state, new developments. They come with contractor parts. They're these plastic wheels that they don't even roll. Yeah, they don't even. Yeah, this is awful. Yeah, this is awful. They don't even roll. They glide. They just glide, and they leave this thick black residue. So a lot of the times we have them they ask, and they're like, what is this? And it's the actual wheel like eroding against the track. And they just don't. There's a lot of folks that don't understand the importance of it. The importance of it, one, for security, because a plastic wheel can break.
Yeah.
The other one is noise reduction, and just like smoother operation.
Right.
Smoother operation. I've put if we've done everything else on a door and they didn't replace the rollers, and I've gone out and put the proper ones or a top of the line. Mm-hmm. The difference is crazy. As a technician, there's sometimes where I would give them away simply because it sounded quieter when I was done. when I was done, and that was my own personal thing. Was I'm gonna feel a lot more comfortable when I leave here, knowing that this sounds peak. It sounds so much better, especially if we're doing a new operator.
Yeah,
that operator is a lot quieter than their previous one. Mm-hmm. And I would always do new wheels with it. Right. So it goes hand in hand.
I would say it's probably one of the most cause for loud noises on a door.
Yeah.
Bearings, rollers, operators are usually the number one thing that they can do. Now, this being a plastic, it is a nylon roller. It just doesn't have a bearing. It's just got this stem portion on it. And then basically it's just riveted and pressed on, and then that's it. No bearing whatsoever. And like you said, they do break down. Now, some people want to upgrade to these metal ones. How do you feel about that?
No, they're loud.
They're loud.
Clanky.
Yeah.
I see them a lot. I don't see them on a lot of new doors unless they are what we would consider a borderline commercial, or for your full view doors, your doors over 450 pounds.
Right.
The amount of houses I've been to that had metal rollers from the 90s.
Yeah.
From the 90s, and we swap them out even for a basic nylon wheel.
Yeah.
The difference is night and day. And these metal rollers, I mean, this is hard steel, and while they're resilient, like, you know, again, it's steel. I haven't seen a lot of these like break. The bearings go, and they clank all over the place. I've seen them put divots inside of the actual track radius.
Yeah.
I've seen them, you know, where the horizontal and vertical actually meet each other. I've seen it indent it where then it starts making a jump, and it's just because these wheels have just been, it's like water running over a rock.
Yeah.
It just naturally erodes it and just hits the same place, and eventually it actually forms it differently. They're loud. We don't even have them in our vans. It's not something it's not even something that we offer. Even for special order parts, we order oversized nylon rollers.
I think the craziest part about this is probably the sneakiest danger that people don't pay attention to. Because like you were saying, the wheel, metal, okay, it's not going to break down over time. It takes long. But that bearing that you were alluding to, what happens is like on a nylon one like this, it's kind of like a pillow for not only the door itself, but for the bearing. So it kind of has a shock in it a little bit, so the bearings last longer. On this one, when you have a heavy door, this is just a lever point, and it's just constant pressure.
It'll crack your hinges,
and they just disintegrate.
Yes.
Like it'll look perfectly fine, and as soon as I go to take it out of the track, it just falls into pieces. This was over your head, dude. Like it is 300 pounds over your head, and that thing just disintegrated in my hand. Like, why risk it?
I've seen them where the entire wheel pops off of the stem as soon as I remove them.
Yes.
And I've walked through with folks, and you go through, like, you know, we always go through a 29-point inspection of the door, so it's everything, and the hinges are a big one. Well, a lot of the reason why people have these cracked hinges and like these stress fractures on these, and again, these are the hinges that hold your door up in place when it is above your car and everything. It is the type of wheel that you have. It has a lot to do with it. Now, there's obviously a lot of components if it's a heavy door and everything, but if there's folks that are having, you know, their door, if they open their garage and they keep it open for a prolonged period of time, all that gravity and weight is floating on this. It's floating on this.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, there's no leverage point that's here. There's no cushion. There's nothing. There's no pillow. Yeah. So your head is just basically on a 2x4. You know, and eventually it cracks. It cracks, and it has been that has been a reason for, you know, hung doors, again, cracked hinges, and you go through and I'll show them, hey, I'm replacing these, and I'm a big reason why, not just the noise, but you take pictures and you show and tell. Yeah. And it's like, this is causing stress fractures on all of your hinges, and it's not on all of your end hinges. And it's not the ones in the middle part of your door. Mm-hmm. It's these, and this is why. Yeah. You know, and then you can upgrade to something, again, where it has a little bit more pillow to it, and we can avoid, you know, any kind of structural damage to the door just from you using it on an everyday occurrence.
Now, if they upgraded, it's starting to get okay. I still have some qualms with it. What would you tell the people about? This is a nylon, but it's got an open bearing on it. So we're starting. We're heading in the correct direction. Right. Again, a little bit of pillow. We had the bearings in there. The only problem with the open face is, and again, in a state where, you know, we're in Arizona. Yeah. A lot of dust. A lot of elements that are, you know, with monsoon season and dry season, when it's open faced, something that I would stress as a technician, and we tell everybody about yearly maintenance on their door. Mm-hmm. When folks would go with that as opposed to a closed bearing wheel, I would tell them, hey, listen, I've already mentioned to you about having us come out and lubricate, readjustments. Yearly maintenance is always fantastic. If you want to look at something you can do as a homeowner with these particular rollers, is every 6 months lubricate them. Yeah. And they're just more susceptible to, like, you know, those bearings getting shaky. Mm-hmm. If the door is out of balance at all, if it's heavy on the ground, if the springs aren't completely balanced, it's going to wear down on them faster. We put a 10-year warranty on those rollers. Mm-hmm. And if that door is not maintained and the proper maintenance isn't done with like lubrication and everything, especially in this state, mm-hmm. typically those bearings go out within 4 or 5 years. Yeah. It's one of the things now that I deal with, you know, again, 10-year warranty. We take care of our people. So if I notice they got them a couple of years ago, boom, we're going to get them changed out for you. But a lot of the time when we are talking about just replacing them,
I offer our customers, them a discounted upgrade to go to like a ZZ roller that's open or that's closed bearing, because there's no maintenance to it. It's very much a set it and forget it at that point.
For sure.
You know, everyone's pretty busy, so I mean, who's going to remember to lubricate their door 2 to 3 times a year?
I mean, I remember.
Yeah. It's something that slips the mind. And then by the time you do have somebody come out, it's a little too late. So we're starting off good. We're heading to the promised land. We're heading to the promised land. But they do have there are some cons to the pros for those open bearing wheels.
Yeah, Scott Cola, he's been doing this for like 35 years.
For like 57 years.
57 years, 74 years roughly, maybe 120.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Almost 100. Actually made the first garage door.
Actually made
I love you. I love you, Scott.
I love you, Scott. But he explained to me whenever as far as like explaining things simply, whenever it's open like this and people have that lubrication, all the little grit and dust and everything gets inside there, he's like, it essentially turns the inside of this into like a rock polisher.
Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those?
Yeah.
He's like, and it just destroys the bearing.
Yep.
He's like, and the only thing that you could do is like get a bunch of spray lubricant and spray it all the way through, but then you actually washed all the good grease from the factory out. He's like, so it's essentially ruined by this point. He's like, so the almost promised land, we're on the last few steps. We have a capped roller.
Right.
So this one, very similar to our open ones, except it has this plastic cover that's on the outside and on the inside of it. Pros and cons of this. This is the minimum.
Right.
For me.
Yes.
But
I agree.
That little thing right there, you can see it move right now.
It's you're putting a little bit of a shield protector on it. Mm-hmm. It's still not a closed bearing, so it's still susceptible to the elements. It's still, again, like you said, rock polisher is actually really good. That's a really good way to put it. There are still entry points for dust, grime. If people use the wrong lubricant and get it, like whether don't use WD-40, use a silicone based spray.
Unless I think WD-40 finally came out with a garage door lubricant.
For real?
But it has to say garage door
lubricant.
Has to say it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is for the first time in like 204 years?
I don't know. I'll talk to Scott.
It's been the same can. It's been the same can since the 60s. But there's a little bit of a shield on it, yeah, sure, with the cap and everything. It's not. To me, that's more of a visual thing. It's more a visual. It'd be the same as it'd be the same as if you put like a small moat around your house, it's like that's not like quite the protection like that we're looking for, for and everything. It's just it makes me feel better.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of a cover. There's still a lot of ways for dirt and grime and the elements to really get in there and again become a rock polisher and wear the bearings out just as quickly.
Yeah. Now
we're
here. We're here. The roller, the only roller you should put on a garage door.
100%.
The 6200 ZZ roller. Got it in A1 red, so it's awesome. They mostly come in white. I think you can get them in whatever color you want.
I've seen them in blue.
Seen them in blue?
I've seen them in blue.
Yeah. No, I have seen them. I think there's a company in St. Louis.
I had a guy. I went out to a guy's house, and he had put them in himself. Don't do that. Have a professional come out and do it. But he had put them in himself, and he had gotten red, white, and blue ones.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because his whole garage was decked out in just the US of A. Which, hey, listen, love that. Love that. Pictures of Hulk Hogan on the walls, the whole 9 yards and everything. And
you met the coolest guy in the world.
He was a pretty solid. He was a pretty solid cat, and he had red, white, and blue ones and everything that he had. You can get them in a bunch of different colors. We have the A1 red. These are closed bearing, so everything is 100% sealed. These are good for 100,000 cycles.
Yeah.
100,000 ups and downs. Don't have to touch them.
It's better than some of our Max Life Springs.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything with these. These are very much, when I would show these options to folks, these were very much, and while they were a little bit more, I think at the time when I was in my own van, I think there were, for the set, it was $140 more than it was for the open faced.
Right.
And I would tell people all the time, like, yeah, it's a little bit of a jump, sure. But I mean, long-term wise, especially if we're going to be here for a while. And I've had people who purchased them and then a year later ended up getting a new door. We took those off and put them on the new one.
Yeah.
On the new one. If they picked out a parts package that didn't involve max life parts like these are,
right,
we took the old ones off and put it on the new one because they were still solid. 100,000 cycles again, and they have a lifetime. We give them a lifetime warranty, and I've never once had to change one out. I've never had a faulty one. I've never had a defective one come out of one of our manufactured boxes. Nothing. They're quiet. They're a set it and forget it. I would tell people it's going to be a little bit more, but you don't have to do anything with this.
Yeah.
I said I don't even have to lubricate this once a year for you when we come out for the tune-ups. I look at it. You make sure somebody give it a wipe off if there's excess, if there's gunk or whatever that's on it.
Check on it to see if there's that weird one-off never seen
right exactly
thing,
exactly but like you don't have to do anything with them. You don't have to do anything with them. And this is a 7-inch stem, which is something I always recommend to everybody as opposed to
about that.
Yes, as opposed to a 4-inch. So your 4-inch is a standard. This comes typical with any set, any set of rollers. New house, that's code. They have to be. It has to be able to fit through. It has to have an allotted point from outside of the hinge sleeve. I would tell people all the time, because the cost of the difference was negligible. I think it was a difference in price of like $25.
Yeah. And
a 7-inch one, again, obviously you can see just side by side. I mean, it's a huge difference, and not just the fact that it's less stress on the actual hinge itself, because it's covering more surface area,
right?
So you're less likely to get any kind of stress fractures on the hinge, but it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
In the event that your door gets hung, and comes off track, the chances of you having that door come out of the track and the roller popping out are a lot less likely than if you have a 4-inch roller.
Yeah, because if you think about it, just for a visual, so my hand will be the hinge. So if that door gets a little cattywampus,
right?
I love saying that. What's going to happen?
Cattywampus?
It's a fun word. But if that door starts to lean one way or another, what happens is that hinge, that sleeve that's sitting over the stem, like this will slide out with only that much movement of a door. So that's why you want a long stem roller. So if that door gets a little bit cattywampus,
yes,
it's gonna hold on to where that corner of the door doesn't fall out on top of anything. It should at least be on all 4 corners.
It's a big safety precaution. It was something that I always talked about with homeowners. Again, just giving them the option.
Yeah.
And then being realistic with them, and going through prior experiences of going out to doors that were literally folding.
Yeah.
And the difference of it, I had said to a gentleman, was, if he had the 7-inch rollers in place to where, his panel was, because the top panel had come out and was actually bent. It was actually bent because of how long it was bent. It was warped like that.
Yeah.
It was warped like that. Whereas if he had a 7-inch roller, more than likely it would have stayed in the track. It would have stayed in the hinge sleeve, and we would have avoided having to get a new door. We would have been able to bring it down. The panel, like the structural integrity of the panel wouldn't have been compromised, and we'd be good to go. It's something that's a big safety thing. I have them on my house. I recommend them for everybody. If you are going to invest in new rollers, whether it's if quieter door is the biggest one.
Right.
I would invest in a 7-inch. I would invest in a 7-inch stem. It has way more benefits. I really can't think of a con, to be honest with you.
No, not at all. And then just for fun, not a lot of homeowners are going to run into this, but this is like your typical garage door roller, right? Nice and itty bitty. This is called a 3-inch roller. So these are like big, heavy
monster
doors.
Trucks.
But what they did with this one is the 6203 ZZ. So it's the same lifetime warranty as our wonderful roller here, just for those big doors with like 3-inch track. And you would be able to go out to your garage and be able to see it. But I really like to show people, especially students, whenever it comes to both of these. So this is another 3-inch roller. This is a metal one though, and we'll see if we can get it on camera. This is brand new. That's brand new. This is why, if I understand why you would want this on a heavy door because of the weight, these can handle a lot of weight, and you should trade it out for nylon and sealed immediately. Sometimes in the industry, they call these car wash rollers, because you can imagine a car wash with the giant full view doors are very heavy, and there's water in there. So they get away from metal rollers like this so they can have this factory sealed one that's waterproof.
The amount of calls that we've gone out to, whether it's in, and we typically see like the heavier 4-5 layer or all glass doors, like Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. They've actually started putting up a bunch of them in Gilbert and Chandler.
Really?
a lot of coachmans and everything inside baseball. We have like a lot of these. It's these these coachmans that they've been putting into these upper class homes in these nice areas of Gilbert.
Yeah,
and they put these metal rollers on. These people are calling us within 18 months. Within 18 months. With their 500-pound door that is screeching.
Yeah.
And it is nails on a chalkboard. And I've never met a person who enjoys that sound.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear this.
Yes.
Now imagine if that also, like,
if it's heavy.
400, 500, 600 pounds on that.
Like, yeah. And they're concerned. And they're concerned. And you go through and look at everything. The first thing I would tell those people is, that's going to be, if noises are going to be your biggest complaint, get that out of there. It's builder grade. They throw them on there. Get the nylon cap. It's day and night. It's day and night. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
It's bananas.
What? It is bananas. That's bananas. This is a 9-inch stem.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Well, you get on those like big, heavier doors, like towards the end. With this one, typically you just have your one hinge, but on those ones, what they'll do is they'll double up.
Yep.
So they want it to be all the way through. So because if it's inside and it has that pivot point, that's what's going to break.
Don't see them too often.
But there you have it, folks. Rollers from the worst to the best. And at the end of the day, you deserve the best. So 6200 ZZ roller or 6203 ZZ if you have a big, crazy door. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on. It's always fun whenever you're here. It takes us about an hour to actually do a podcast since we're having silly goose time before we get started. But I love it, and thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me.